All right, ladies and gentlemen, we very much apologize for the technical difficulties. According to Jarvis, screen just went black. Nothing to really say. We do apologize for it, but we're back racing here at Silverstone Sprint. 7 minutes have elapsed so far in this race, and let's go over a few things that have happened. Mr. Harmon, all the way down in P8, he was fighting with Frokov pretty heavily, but sadly was just pushing the car a little bit too much, spun it, and has gone back down into P8. So there's going to be a lot of work for Herman to hopefully get up into the back of that crowd. So we got Frokov in the lead, we got Judowan in second, we got Bergvis in third, Drury in the Cadillac in fourth, Smoka in fifth. Or fifth or sixth, but I think he's entered the pits now. So that's Smoka entering the pits very, very early. So there must be some sort of mechanical or body issue. I do see a little bit of damage on his car, but apart from that, he is all the way down in last and is going to be staying in the pit lane for a good amount of time. But as of right now, we have Sudivong in the car number 007 making it up in the P5, so he's doing a really good job. As now I'm seeing Herman right on the back bumper of Kennedy having to defend. So Depojo's just, after that, I mean, after a mistake like that, Lane, you know this from seeing it from other drivers, it's so easy once you get into one spin to really lose it. As I just saw someone absolutely walk up into the braking zone here into the chicane, but oh, so there is someone off into the wall. I think there's someone that's completely slowed the car down. I'm not sure who that was. And it's Alex Drury, who was doing oh so well up in P4 and moved all the way down in the Cadillac. So the Cadillac curse is alive and well, not just in real life, but also in the sim. But Lane, take it away, talking about what it's like to just, you know, you're up, you have a bad mistake, and you just make mistake after mistake.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just about overdriving the car, right? The tires heat up, you just don't got the grip that you expect it to be. And it just seems like in that corner, I believe it was the final corner, it kicked loose for him. And he just couldn't, you can't cover from that because it's also a pretty fast corner. I forgot what it's called, cops.
Yeah, it's called, no, don't worry. Nah, don't worry about getting all your names, man. It's your first one. But no, I couldn't agree with you more. It's been so much of an issue seeing these drivers, once they get into one mistake, they just, the Jenga tower, the Jenga blocks start going, man. They start to make mistake after mistake. I will say, though, Herman able to get past all the volume up and back into P4, and he has the fastest lap of the race at 146.692. So, despite being 7 seconds down from the top three, he is going a little faster than them. But I think the only way he's going to be able to really catch up to that top three is if something happens between these top three, pace-wise or battle-wise. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But up in front, we have Mikhail Frokov, very comfortable up in front. A 2-second gap to Jidawad and a 9/10 gap to Verkvis in third. So the Isoda still unable to get by and still unable to do stuff, but that is A-okay. We'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, yeah, we still have under 49 minutes remaining to go, and everyone's starting to space out a little bit more, so hopefully we'll be seeing a few more battles soon. But as of right now, everyone is starting to space out, get a little bit more comfortable. So this will be a one-stop strategy, I do believe. That is how we do things around here for these sprints. The question is, though, when? When are those stops going to happen? Lane, if you're coming into a race completely blind, doing a 1 hour sprint, and you knew you had the pit, looking at the energy, looking at the stuff, what would you do it?
Well, I do it. Well, the stupid mind of me, like the dumbass of me, is gonna say, "Hey, pit halfway through," and we just see Alex Drury just kind of kicking loose into that caddy over there. But no, I mean, you know, wisdom says, "Hey, put 30 minutes in," right? But for me, at least, I want to get fresher tires at the end so I can make those moves. Like, it doesn't matter, because at that point, if I'm in no man's land, I just got to do qualifying lap after qualifying lap. So I'd probably pit in around 40. I'd make that first stint stretch a little bit longer, maybe 45 minutes if I can with the fuel, and go from there and just do quality laps at the end.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. So we'll have to wait and see Because, hey, man, I'd probably do the same thing. I gotta be honest, especially when you're coming into a race a little unprepared, which I know, Lane, you've done a few times in the RVR state. And, hey, no shame
Right.
on that. I've done it, too. I know Jarvis has done it, too, in all their races. We're all victim to lack of preparation and having to pick up the pieces mid-races and just trying to figure it out. But with 48 minutes remaining, I think we're going to be just fine for now as we're starting to smooth in. Francisco Chavez in that beautiful Glickenhaus. God, I love that livery. Starting to settle behind the Cadillac and the Porsche up in front. That's the Lucia who started on last, just making up into sixth. So you can see how just by being clean, you can get up into those high point positions. But I also do want to look. But yeah, go for it, Jarvis. My apology. No, you're all good. I appreciate the update on that. But no, you can start to see that it's pretty common when you get into the mid stages of the race. The blood's not flowing. There's not really a lot of stuff happening unless you're Bergvis here and a second off, looking to really get for a fight. It's really hard to keep your concentration and stuff like that. Going through Maggots and Beckett's, getting mistakes. That's pretty common. It's pretty common to see that stuff happen. And just what I was about to say. I want to look at energy because we got a few cars around the mid 60s. We got most of the top cars. The top driver, Furokov, is 60%. So he is using just a little bit more compared to everyone else, especially compared to Bergvis and Gitawad in second and third, who I know Furokov is starting to pull significantly away from second and third. But I must say, second and third are using a lot less battery, so there could be the chance that they could go an extra lap. But I will start to pay attention and see how much percentage they use per lap, because around the Le Mans, they were using about, I think it was about 7% per lap. That was around what it was, Jarvis. So it was, yeah, it was around 7%. So you could guess it's around maybe 5%. And so the fact that there's two cars behind Furokov that have 66% and 71%. I think that could play interestingly into how the stops may go, as we're looking on board with Alex Drury right on to the back of the Lucia, trying to make it up into P6. This is a very good position, finishing position, like I said, for the number 4 Porsche. He hasn't been nearly this high all year, but it's very good to see that car getting up into the thick of things. Hopefully we'll see Drury trying to make it back up into that mid-pack, trying to get back up into P6, following right close up behind the Porsche. He just might very well go for a move here coming into Maggots and Beckett's, but it's just about patience here, young Padawan, as he answers Maggots. And I don't think there's going to be anything soon. He's going to have to look for it on the back straight here, getting really close, looking to position the car, try to get that good exit, but by trying to get that good exit, it looks like he compromised a little bit, lost a little bit of time, but here comes the slipstream. Now down the back straight. We know how fast these cars are entering this corner, nearly 200 miles an hour, but that 963 just having a little bit more speed on the top end, able to hold him off. But now coming into the chicane, is there going to be any sort of move? A little bit loose there from Drury, almost losing it under braking. These cars, man, with no ABS, whew, they are very, very difficult, and especially in the car seat, goes very, very wide through the final corner. Now, Lane, I know you have a bit of experience talking about this Cadillac, because not in this series, but in another series and in another game, you're driving a Cadillac, and I think you were talking to me because we were in a test session the other day. You were complaining a lot about these brakes, so I think throughout all these games, these cars are relentless on entry into corners, exit the corners, with no TC, no ABS. You gotta be locked in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When it comes to these cars, no ABS in track circuit racing. I mean, you can deal with it in NASCAR in the ovals because you ain't touching your brakes too much. And in tracks that you do, they'll get heat up. But with these cars, it's a whole different beast when it comes to that. Getting used to driving GT3 cars in circuits, whole different beast when it comes to these hypercars right now. And I believe he's kicking it loose. I'll probably push up that brake bias up a click. if I were him.
You would put it out purposely. Hey man, that's a pretty good suggestion. That hey, I'll take it from you. You're my teammate. I'll listen to you. So yeah, no. For those who've also wondered, we have been teammates in the past. We actually used to run the Aston Martin. So seeing two Aston Martins in this server made me think of good old times of Lane and I. Except
Give you PTSD, if you will.
No. I don't know what he's talking about. But what I will be saying though, Hans Hermann, fastest lap of the session, a 145.512. The front guys are doing 147s. So Herman is catching up to the rear of second and third. He's going to be catching up hopefully in the next 2 or 3 laps, because I must say Gidewatt and Bergqvist are around half a second between each other as the Isotta getting oh so close to the rear end of that Cadillac. This is going to be a battle for the podium spots as Herman is coming up behind. Or is he? Because he's just dropped a considerable amount of time and is now 8 seconds behind. So did the commentary curse just come out, and did he just spin into the slow braking zone? I think he just did. So as soon as I'm talking about something exciting, I just have to get humbled. So that's Hans Hermann losing a considerable amount of time, going from 3 seconds down to now 8 seconds down. And hey, there's 41 minutes remaining. Hopefully he'll be coming up, as now we see Herman entering the pits. So he's clearly had a lot of issues with there, and maybe he's brought up the tires. He goes, nah guys, I made that mistake. I gotta bring it in. That is such a shame, because we saw how well he was running up in front, and we know he has the pace, but he just can't have the pace without spinning it a little. So we'll hopefully have to see if something may come out near the back end, because he will have to stop one more time. I know he won't be able to go to the end, or he might be able to. You never know. If he wants to go to the end, he would have to be oh so cautious. But as of right now, that is Hans Hermann entering into the pit. So we'll have to wait and see on that battle eventually, as he will be leaving the pits very, very soon. But as we're looking with Francisco Chavez now getting a little bit closer to the back end of the 963, the caddy of Drury pulling away a little bit. And I should actually just mention, wait a goddamn minute, he passed the Porsche. So that's Drury up into P5, the Lucia down into P6. And we'll be seeing if that Glickenhaus will be trying to get up against the Lucia. Now, this is no sort of Lucia. He's done the right thing. He's gotten out of trouble. He's all clean so far this race. He's just doing the right thing. And no issues so far on track from the seams of it, as no one's had any issue trying to get around him. But we'll be seeing if Chavez, who has a decent amount of pace and has a 6% advantage on energy, could be getting up to the back soon. And same with Suthavong, with him in 8th. It's getting a bit of a train here for the mid-pack. So there will be something happening here in this mid-pack. We'll just have to figure out when, as we're coming up now to 40 minutes remaining. Jarvis, Lane, I need you guys to take it away. The restroom's calling me. I'm sorry, guys. Why don't you guys take it away?
Oh, man. No, absolutely, I agree. I think when it comes down to all this, especially we're at 39 minutes now into the race, I think I'll be in the pit stops. I think you just got time that, that pit stop window, and then from there you just put in a good lap, in or out lap, and just hope to God that your opponent screws up. And I think that's going to be more prominent in the battle between Drury, Lucia, Chavez, and Suthavong. I think it's going to be a good battle between the mid-pack and the 5, 6, 7, 8 places. I mean, yeah, it would be the temperatures that are going to change a lot. Like, the tires are going to react differently. You're just not going to expect the same thing as you do when you practice on daytime. But at the same time as well, there's a lot of drivers, sadly, that would use, well, probably not for this track, because I don't see a lot of shadows coming in. But a lot of people use shadows or those, those small cues in track for the braking zones, right? And when it gets darker, obviously you can't see even with these headlights. So I think we may see some drastic changes in pace when the night actually comes in. They're privateers, aren't they? Oh man, he got balls right there. He got some balls of steel doing that over there. Let's see if Chavez can get it back on this fast right-hander. No, he just lays off. He's just like, yeah, that's not my fight. Oh. Yeah, I think Delusive ran a clean race at this moment. We don't know if he's going to screw up later on, but that's how we got up to those places. To P6 right now. I think he's just like, hey, I'm going to stay out of trouble. I'm just going to run my race. I ain't gonna trouble anyone. Trying to poke my nose in there, trying to fight. And now it's a drag race right here. Now it's a drag race right here. Looks like the caddy got more power. Hugs it on the inside. All good from here. Let's see if Chavez got more grip. Doesn't look like it. He might try something into those fast corners. Hopefully not, because honestly, I think that's a recipe to disaster for him. But incredible move by Chavez on the Aston Martin, just using that car to his advantage. A lot stiffer, a lot more stable compared to that Cadillac that was just running. No, absolutely. That's a caddy curse right there. Unfortunate. He's doing so good as well. If it were me in that car, I'd probably just pit it in and just like, hey, something's wrong with the car. Maybe I need to tweak the brake bias. Maybe I got some damage that I don't know, and I got to fix that. Or maybe it's just the tires that ran out, right? He's at 47 What is he at right now? He's at 42% energy right now, so I don't think that's a bad time to pit and just like, hey, fix whatever's on my car. Let's get a fresh restart with clean air and all that stuff, and put the head down. Yeah, I think that first lap incident just shook him up. Like basically in the start finish straight, right? And he just got behind Frokov and it just completely threw him out. He was singing Frokov for a good, 3 to 4 laps. But once he spun, I I think that shook him up a little bit. Maybe that's ruined his tires because I don't think he pitted yet. Or no, he did pit, and I think it was just for fuel. It was a short pit stop. Uh, no, is it,
I just came back and put my headphones on. What? What is going on? Huh. That could be, yeah, that could be risky, man. High risk, high reward. No, absolutely for sure. He is doing the second fastest times on the track right now. Hans Herman still doing the fastest laps down in 7th, but he's second fastest. That's absolutely for sure. So we'll have to wait and see how that relays down as we're now coming up to half an hour remaining in this race. We're halfway through. Frokov still up in front and still comfortably up in front. He's got a 16.3 second gap up to Kennedy in 2nd. We got Sutavong up in 3rd in the Aston. We got Francisco Chavez in 4th. Bergvis in 5th. Ajitawad in 6th. Herman in 7th. Philippe Smolka, our pole man, down in 8th. Kyle Welling in 9th. JD Lucia in 10th. Drury in 11th. Perez in 12th. And Stickley in 13th. So I'm very interested to see because, yeah, no, there are a few cars that definitely still need to pit. So we are going to just wait and see how that comes out. But for Frokov up in front, he's just got to put the laps down. That's pretty much all he can do for now. And he's doing 47, so he's a little off the pace. But, again, nothing to worry about so far as we're looking on board with Bergvis in the Isoda as he is getting a little bit closer to the back of his other backmarker compatriot, IRL, not in the race, the Glickenhaus of Francisco Chavez. He's already under a second into this braking zone, so he'll be coming right onto the back very, very soon. But I am really interested to see eventually what happens with these pit stops because I'd like to see some racing and some fun little bit of action at the end of this race. I thought we were getting something heating up with Herman catching up to the rear end, but because of what's been happening these last few laps, he's just unable to do so. And so we'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen. Bergvis getting slowly but surely within that gap. Excuse me, my goodness. Thank you. But yeah, most importantly, we're just gonna. I'm very intrigued to see if people are going to be able to keep these paces up and be able to keep these stints up. Because I got to be honest, I'm seeing a lot more mistakes than I was seeing at Le Mans. Le Mans was really consistent. I was really impressed by the lack of mistakes from people, but it seems like you took a bit of a break. You got some liquor in you through December and New Year's, and now here we are. And hey, it's a little okay, but I am still a little bit surprised, Jarvis, to see a little bit less inconsistency from people. That's what happened. Yeah, go ahead. Something I am curious about is what are the track conditions and especially what are the air and track temperatures? Because I know it's January 3rd, and if we're playing this to be accurate to what Silverstone is, this is a cold, cold, cold race. I know it's only like 6 or 7 degrees over there, and so you're really getting a little bit of issues with that. And so yeah, you would get a lot of issues with keeping the tires up to temp, trying to make sure that they're consistent all around. As we see Bergvis also close to the back, Francisco Chavez looking to get up in the P4. That opportunity will be coming soon for you. Just gotta be a little patient. I gotta be honest though, it's really fun seeing these two back markers technically being up in front. Is last lap, fastest lap of the session, a 1:45.1 for Herman, as wow, Travis just letting him by, putting up absolutely no fight whatsoever. He said, Bergquist, go on after it. Go get these guys and get that podium spot. And up into P4 he goes. Aaron Lane, I know you're not a big fan of Multi 21. Is that the most blatant Multi 21 you've seen here so far?
Oh man, maybe not considering that first lap that we saw with Herman against Frokov, but yeah, I mean, I think it's just more of a strategy wise for Chavez, just like saying, "Hey, you're not my fight. I'm trying to get you on the pits. I'm trying to make this last." But I believe they're all good to. I haven't been paying attention to pit stops. I'm going to be honest with you.
That's all good. No problem at all. But I will say, though, there will be someone who will have to pit. And that is Mikhail Fokov. Well, there's a few people that do still have to pit because there's a plenty of guys still on around 30%. And that's Fokov, Kennedy, Suthovic, and Chavez. I believe, though, Bergvis, Gilawad, Herman, and maybe Smolka can get it to the end on this pace and with the time that we have remaining. So the front three are still going to have to pit, but being Frokov being about 40 seconds in front of Bergvest, who we said that is Bergvest second on track right now, or well, no, not through second. Yeah, so with a 40-second gap down to Bergvest, Frokov is pretty damn comfortable and can go pretty easy on the stint. But I am interested to see what will happen with Suthovic and Kennedy as they will be coming up to their stop soon. Oh, excuse me. See, guys, I'm trying to keep it together here. We have 24 minutes remaining in this race. Frokov still up in front. Kennedy with a on-track best of second this year. I don't think have we seen him up in the top three at all, Jarvis? I think yeah, it's very rare. That would be the best thing of all time. That'd be the best thing of all time.
That'll be something.
No, you're all good. No worries at all. But honestly, when it comes to the strategy, I just think that so much has to play into Bergvis's hands if he wants to get this win. It's got to go really wrong, and I'm talking like the worst opening like stint outside of the pits for Frokov, just spinning, not getting anything that he wants. Like that's the only thing that needs to happen for something like that to occur. So we're gonna have to wait and see, but wow, I'm just looking at it. How on earth did Bergqvist pull out a 20-second gap through the pit stops alone? That's a very smart pit stop cycle to take advantage of and to move up. I've been thinking a lot about pit stop cycles because in one of my championships we're racing at Daytona, and the thing is with Daytona is, oh man, you got to be so careful with getting the stops on. Now we are talking about NASCAR Daytona, not endurance Daytona, so it is very, very much different. But I do know for a fact if you're not pitting right with the right people or at the right time, yeah, you're gonna just purely off of what time you go to the pit stop, you will lose 20 seconds, and that is exactly what has happened to the Cadillac in P4. So unless, because he does have 51%, I think with 20 minutes to go, I think he's going to be A-okay. But I am very curious about Frokov. With his 38-second gap, he's been holding that 38-second gap pretty good because Bergqvist is doing 47 zeros, and I know if you go look at the last 5 lap average for Frokov, it is also a 47-0. So this is kind of the hell to be in as a racing driver, isn't it? To just, you're matching the pace of the leader, but you're in no man's land. So you're just, even though you're matching, it doesn't really mean anything because you're not gaining, you're not losing, you're just in no man's land. And especially being in no man's land 40 seconds away from the lead, it's got to sound a little difficult. Also, something that I'm noticing, I'm listening to the Isoda. Does that have a F1 V6 in it or something? Because I don't know about you, but LMU is making it sound a little bit like an F1 V6 a little bit. I don't know about you guys.
I'm gonna be the same thing because I've listened to these cars in real life, minus the Isetta and the what's the other privateer that we got? That dang the Glickenhaus. Hey man, these cars sound so good in real life, especially you get that concave corner in because I went to Austin. Oh, and we see Franz Herman. Oh man, what happened to him?
Off immediately. So that's him having another spin. Wow, he's just not found the consistency today. He has the time, but just unable to keep it on track. Lane, keep going.
I mean, I was talking about the car sounds, but now I'm interested in Franz Herman now. But I would just say it's a disaster class for him. Lost the start. He was heads and miles away in qualifying. He was like 9/10, nearly a second ahead of P2, and it just not qualified. Oh no, that was Herman. Didn't he get pulled?
No, he did not.
Oh, well, Herman's fast too.
Well, Herman is fast here. He's fast. He's been the pole man of the race. He's had the fastest lap throughout this whole race. He's been the man on 1 lap pace.
So from there, I guess he just got to qualify and set it up, and he's just like, I can't race with this. Maybe that's the issue right there. No clue.
But yeah, you were mentioning you've been the Coda, Aaron Lane, and you've been to it with a few other people, so you do know about that a little bit. But Jarvis, have you been to any WEC races at all? Not fair enough, but hey, Silverstone is coming back to the WEC calendar pretty soon, so that will be a good opportunity, although I do know Silverstone, it's going to break your bank, so I do apologize to your bank account in advance. Thank you so much, Silverstone. But, yeah, no, it's A-okay. We're coming up now to 18 minutes remaining in this race. Mikhail Frokov still in the lead. He's got a comfortable 17-second gap on Kennedy in second. And both of these guys are going to be pitting around the same time, so not much time will be lost between them. Bergqvist up in third in the Isoda is technically second when it comes to the strategy, as he has 44%. So he's going to be going all the way to the end. We have Gidabot in fourth, Hans Hermann in fifth, Smolka in sixth, JD Lucia in seventh, Kyle Welling in eighth. We have Francisco Chavez down in 10th. So what has happened to my boy Chavez? I'm not 100% sure. Same with Suthervig. I know what's happened. They went into the pits. So Chavez went into the pits. He's just come out. And Suthervig still has a plenty amount of time until he has to pit. But Kyle Welling down in 9th place with 18%. Yeah, he's got to get into the pits very, very soon. And that rounds up our top 10. Is the only 10 remaining out on track. Not sure what happened to Nico Perez. Don't know what happened to Stickley. And yeah, I do know that Drury just kept on making mistakes and came out with the retirement. So we'll have to wait and see and figure out what happened to him. But as of right now, we got 10 cars out on track, 10 cars fighting it out. But Frokov is the man of the hour, the man to beat. Setting pretty good times. He's actually improving his times. He's on his average. He was doing 47s. He's now getting a little bit into the 49s as we're on board with Sutavong in the Aston Martin, getting a little close to the rear of DeLucia. DeLucia trying to hold on for a pretty solid points finishing here, because he did start in last in P13, but hey, he's moved up 6 places, and he's doing a pretty damn good job in 7th, just holding it off from the Aston. Has Sutavong looking around and maybe going up the inside here into the chicane, and will do so. DeLucia putting up very minimal effort on that overtake, and that's Suthavong up into P7. Yay! We got some track action to talk about. I'm so happy. This is great. No,
I'll be Frokov and Kennedy.
it'll be Frokov, Kennedy, and Welling. Those are pretty much going to be the only 3 that have the pit. I think Sutavong, despite being, or sorry, Smolka, despite being on 30%, he's got 50 minutes. I think he just might be able to wring it out of that car, because he did pit extremely early. So he's going to be betting. He might be able to get at least 1 position with Kennedy, because yeah, he might be 54 seconds down on Kennedy, but you never know. But with 4% remaining, with Frokov's going through Maggots and Beckett's, this probably means that our race leader will be entering the pits now this lap. So it will be interesting to see what kind of happens here with Frokov in the 20 cars. He's now going down the back straight. He's only got 1 more corner to go before entering into the pit lane. And into the pit lane we must go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. As no, he's not entering the pits. He's locking up.
That's not the pit lane.
Oh, it's god damn it. Ah, I've been Silverstone maxed, bro. I hate myself. This is crazy. Thank you guys so much. I was like, wow, what's he doing? He's not entering the pit lane, but he's got 2%, so he's really bringing it all the way down to the last little bit. So guys, you can tell I'm losing it. As speaking of losing it, Kyle Welling losing it, going wide through that very difficult section. It's just not been a day of days for the Cadillac. Kyle Welling's very much struggling, now getting lapped by Fedorkov. But with 1% now on the car as he's entering into the final section, now he will be entering the pits. We must go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. Very close, I must say, but he must, yeah, no, he's at 0.3 laps, so he's got the perfect amount of energy. He cut it just about as close as he wants, entering into the pits, walking it up a little. I hope he didn't give himself a bit of a penalty, because if he does, we have a race on our hands, because he did lock it up a bit, but it seems like he's okay. Up on the jacks he goes. Kennedy now goes into the lead. But now, will Bergqvist take advantage? The jacks are up, and off he goes. So now Bergqvist, that gap, it's going to be pretty close. As also Kyle Welling entered the pits right behind him as well. Got the issue done, but Bergqvist now coming out of the final corner. This is going to be for the race lead as they come out of the final corner. Frokov exiting now. I think Bergqvist has absolutely
Oh,
timed this perfectly. The Isoto Frasini has entered and is out into the lead. He might not be on the lead out on track as Kennedy still has to go, and Frokov does have a stop and go. I did call it. He was too fast into the pits, and he walked up. He's got to stop and go, so it didn't even matter if Bergqvist beat him out. He's got to go back in the pits. So it's Soto Fraschini in front. And I don't think he's going to have no challenge because, yeah, like we said, Frokov, he's going to have to enter back into the pits. Bergqvist. Exactly. Yeah, that's a rare mistake to see from our previous champion Frokov. He's so usually timid and relaxed that we've seen in these sessions. He doesn't usually make mistakes like these. Very rare to see that. And yeah, you're totally right. I was thinking the exact same thing. Even if he didn't have, if he didn't have the track position coming out, he's in the BMW. He's gets in the soda. He's gonna be able to pass him eventually. With 12 minutes remaining, he definitely has the time. But now, his race is done. At least his fight for the win is done because Bergqvist doesn't have to worry about the pits. But I am interested though because Frokov not entering the pits just yet. Which, I do want to talk about that between you guys. If you're in a situation like Frokov, you get to stop and go. Are you trying to go into the pits immediately? Or are you just going to try and wait it out? As Bradley Kennedy, who is just on top now, going into the pits and into P3, now down into P4 you go. But I am curious to hear from you two how you guys would take this situation. Would you go into the pits immediately on lap 1, or do you do what Frokov is doing and just extend?
honest. You go ahead, Jarvis. Honestly, if it were me, I would go instantly the moment I saw that stop go penalty come out. I just want to get it out of my head, just like, okay, heads down. Because what, we got 10 minutes left to go. So it's just like, you got to run quality laps at this point. You got to be pushing the car unless you got a good gap behind you where you can kind of coast to the end. But no, like if you have this battle with Bergqvist and Frokov that we're having right now, I would have taken that stop go right there.
No, and honestly, I'm gonna have to lean on the side of lane. I would have just gotten that out of the way, and something else has happened here. As we're gonna have to look at Herman, and that's Kyle Welling having a bit of an off, just not having a day of days here, losing a lot of time here. Now down in P10, as Jidawad now coming on to the back of Herman, as it says. Is Herman actually in P3 right now? No way. How? How is this man in P3? Wow, that's an incredible comeback result. I think he must have overtaken Julian when we were looking at a different fight, but we've been seeing Herman making these mistakes, so we know they can happen. So I bet you Julian's thinking in that car, all I need to do is just give him the slightest bit of pressure, and he's gonna make that mistake. Because if Huki has been making those incidents just off of his own, I just won't imagine what happens if just he gets a little bit of pressure. It's now Ginawad under a second on Herman, so we could be seeing a battle here for this last podium spot here at Silverstone. Silverstone, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still trying to wake up. Yeah. This is an incredible race. It is uncharted territory, but I gotta call Bergvis the strategy
Frokov's taking it.
master.
Frokov taking the stop and
And now
go.
Prokop is taking his stop officially. There he goes, entering into the pits. And that will be it. He's going to be sitting long and hard thinking about that stop because I must say, though, you got to say in the last few laps, I mean, it would have been a little different had he not gotten that stop and go. I think he would have been right on the back with Bergvis going for that fight right to the end. But you saw there in the last lap or so, he just kind of backed off pretty hard on Bergvis and was just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I don't really care to go for this lap all too much, but yeah, now with Frokov taking that pit, he's down in P5, completely on his own. He's in the middle of nowhere. He's got Smolka 6 seconds back, and Kennedy 16 seconds up in front. So I was just about to say the stop and go penalty thing has not come up, or it's not gone away. I mean, so. There's no way he got another stop and go penalty trying to erase the stop and go penalty. Because if so, Wayne, we might have our RBR moment of the race.
Oh man.
We just might. We just might. We just might
I
have
doubt
our
he
RBR
speeded
moment.
again in the pits because he didn't lock up when he went in the pits, so it could be something maybe on the settings or whatever. You gotta like change it.
But it's Kyle Welling spinning right in front. Yeah, Kyle Welling just not having a days of days here. But I know he's just trying to get that car home and finished, done and dusted. But we're coming up just under 6 minutes remaining. Yeah, Frokov. I think he does have another stop and go penalty. That is just the worst luck for the BMW, who we thought was going to be carrying it away. We thought this was going to be an easy win, but no, there goes Frokov going wide. He is done.
Raising anger.
Done. He is done. Racing more mad than upset, if anything. But yeah, that's just the last thing you really want to see from this driver, because we do know he can win races if he really wants to. But hey, man, it's his first time back in the car and goes straight back into the pits. So let's see. Please slow it down on time. I don't know if he has or not, but we'll have to wait and see as he's entering into the pits to serve his second stop and go penalty. If this is not a nail in a coffin, I don't know what is. Yeah, so that's interesting. So it looks like Smolka wasn't able to go all the way to the end on energy, and having to just do a quick little energy splash, as you would say, to get up. But I gotta be honest, Hans Herman getting a second place out of this is a pretty impressive job. I gotta be honest. But I'm looking at the times. Herman is 2 seconds a lap faster, and that's an 8-second gap. I'm not saying anything, but if there's 4 minutes to go and there's an 8-second lapse and he's catching at 2 seconds a lap, I'm just saying something
it's
could
gonna be
happen.
huge ass for Herman right there.
Yeah,
huge
it would be a very huge ask. And Bergqvist would pretty much have to limp the car home at the state if something was to happen. But yeah, no, it's a big and tall order from Herman, and yeah, he is easily the fastest car on track. It's not even close, as he's very much pulled away from G the Watt up in front after his little incident. But yeah, it's pretty much going to come down to, in these next 3.5 minutes, can he pull the lap of the gods and pull out that gap? Because that gap is down to 8 seconds. He gained half a tenth through Maggins and Beckett alone, so he is flying through there. He clearly has the pace advantage. So, man, if there was maybe, I don't know, maybe another 10 minutes, we could be talking about maybe a battle right to the end here between Bergqvist and Herman. But it is, unless Bergqvist makes a mega mistake in these last few laps, which he hasn't been doing all race long, I think he just might be able to hold that off. But G the Watt up in third, getting us good podium positions here. And I also do think that Frokov did get another stop and go because he went out and he still has to stop and go. So race over for Frokov. It's done. It is done and dusted for the BMW driver. Such a shame to see him not be able to get that done. So he'll have to go in one more time. Or, you know, he might just take the penalty at the end of the race. You never know. Just accept it, drive it to the end, and get the penalty. He knows he's not getting a high-scoring points position anyways. So that can happen. Yeah, no, me too. I wish I could see it as well. It is really odd. We'll have to get him in the commentator's box for an interview after the race to talk about it. And since we do have 2 minutes to go, we will be trying to get Bergqvist. If he is our winner, we will try to get Bergqvist up into the stands. So think of some questions to ask. If anyone in the comments section has questions to ask the race winner, please feel free to bring some suggestions in the comment sections down below, and we will surely bring them up if they're appropriate. But as of right now, a minute and a half to go. Bergqvist, that gap's down to 5 seconds. Oh man, if there's only even 5 minutes remaining, with the fact that he's lapping 2 seconds a lap faster, I would be like, oh man, I'd hope so. But I gotta say, these guys are cutting it a little close though on energy. They are cutting it a little close. So I don't know. Something could happen here still. You never know. But
you never know, Nick. But it's one thing to catch up to a car. It's another thing to pass him, right?
Oh, yes, sir. That is true. I that's something I always tell myself when I'm racing. But, you know, we're coming up now to the last minute of racing here at LSR. Yeah, this has just been... I'm just blown away at the Asota. I think... Is this the Asota's first race in LSR? No. No, 100%. But yeah, it still is 5 seconds. Unless Bergqvist has an error of errors coming up in the next lap. But yeah, there will be an extra lap to go as we're now coming up to the final seconds of this race. And we will figure out exactly what happened. I was looking in the chat. Miandal GT was saying that he lost force feedback in the last corner and met the barrier. And that is what happened to one of the drivers and why they fell out of contentions. But that's the timer officially done on the race. And you can see Herman right there on the same straight. If there's only a few bit of minutes. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't even say if there's only a few bit of minutes. I bet you Herman is kicking himself for the spins and the mistakes. Because I bet you if he didn't make at least one of those mistakes, he'd be right there on that back bumper. It's now we're coming up to the final sector of racing here. As that gap is down to 3.5 seconds. Yeah, just imagine what could have been for Herman. But it is going to be unbelievable. JB in the Asoto now with a sector to go. That gap now down to 3 seconds between the two of them. Bergqvist with an unbelievable result here in the Asoto. He mastered the strategy. I bet you that man took his homework and reviewed it well. Because, boy, he came to class and aced it. He was perfect on the strategy. He was perfect throughout the entire race on managing the car. Through Herman, through Smoka, through everyone. It's been no issue. Out of the final corner in the Asoto Fraschini. Do you believe in miracles? Because I do. Bergqvist is your winner here in Silverstone. It's an unbelievable result. Bergqvist gets the job done. Herman comes home in second. He spins in celebration. I don't blame him. What an amazing result. Herman comes home in second. Gideon comes home in third. An amazing result here from the top three. Kennedy now coming across the final corner to get fourth place. I think that might be the best result of the season for Kennedy, unless he's finished on the podium of some sort. I would not done. It's very well done from everyone in the chat. Everyone's so happy to see this. Sutherland coming home in 5th place. He's got one more sector of racing. Herman in that last lap, setting a fastest lap of the session, a 144.8. He was pushing all the way to the end. And if it's going as the way it's looking, it will be Sutherland in 5th, Smoka in 6th, JD Lucia in 7th, Chavez in 8th, Kyle Welling in 9th, Frokov disqualified at the end of the race and will come home in 10th. And Drury, Perez, and Stickley being our only retirements of this race. Lane, Jarvis, wow, what a race. What a race of strategy, what a race of fruition, and we saw a miracle today. We saw a Fraschini win! We saw a Fraschini win that is unbelievable. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. Jarvis, take it away. Wayne, take it away.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Props to Berkfist, just keeping it clean on track. Just like, hey, I'm gonna run my own race. Gonna, new year, new me. I'm gonna keep it clean and just run it. And got P1 for that. But I want to focus on the heartbreaks that we've seen with Smolka, with Frokov, with even Herman, right? All the mistakes, the tiny little mistakes that they got, it just adds up when it comes to that. I mean, Frokov, sadly enough, got it wrong in the pits. Got like three different stop and goes that got him disqualified. We had Smolka just bottling the start right there, and then we just have Herman fast, very fast, but it's just the spins. I mean, that one spin, right, just makes or break an hour race, which is interesting if you think about it.
Oh, absolutely it is. I'm waiting for a response from Bergvist. Hopefully we will see if he is interested to come up onto the podium. We're still waiting for a little bit of word for Frokov, and he said it best. He was just being an idiot and just broke way too late. So it was just a little too ambitious on the tire stuff. And hey, that's what happens in these races. You're gonna see a lot of this stuff come up and about. But yeah, it's been an incredible race. I don't think we're gonna get any bit of interviews, sadly, for today. Bergvist hasn't responded to us. So I would love to hear your guys' any last final thoughts from both of you two. Jarvis, take it away. Ooh,
It's got to be Berkfist saying it.
it's got to be Bergvist. It has to, man. No, 100%. I mean, when we're talking about Smoka, I mean, look at me, right, Lane? I'm a bit of a one lap merchant sometimes myself. I can understand it a little bit. Listen, the nerves of coming up and being in a situation like that, it's scary. And especially being on a front row, I have had a lot of nerves coming up with that. It's very understanding to get that and to get a little bit of nerves, get those nerves. But it's just not exactly what it's saying. I'm hearing Smolka saying that the car on setup felt like it went from the 2020 Mercedes to the 2014 Ferrari, which is, hey man, I felt that. That's real. I've understood that. But no, it's, yeah, quality pace versus race pace are different animals, completely different beasts. And so the true drivers, the real drivers, are going to be able to take advantage of that and really go in the fight. But yeah, Lane, let's take it away.
Oh man, I really enjoyed the midfield battle that we had. Soothvong, shout out to Soothvong. I think he put up a hell of a show when it comes to that. Aston Martin, I think he was running the highest Aston Martin. Someone real quiet that finished in the podium, Giroux. I think he was pretty much the only caddy with no problems. I mean, we saw Drury just lock up. I mean, we saw Kyle, or Welling, just kind of like get in the grass a little bit too much, have a little spin. But I think Giroux just had pretty much a little bit quiet when he was up there in the first couple of minutes with the Toyota. But shout out to Giroux. Like, if we were not going to pick Bergqvist for the main driver of the race, right? Obviously, we got it. But if there was a runner up for it, I'll put Giroux up there.
And yeah, no, that's fair enough. But for me, if I were to say who my driver of the day is, it's got to be Bergqvist. Nailed the strategy, completely messed off, and did the one thing that no one else did: didn't make mistakes. So yeah, it was really, really just for me. It's pretty obvious in the soda. It's got to be Bergqvist. So that's it. This has been an incredible race. Sadly, we weren't able to get any interviews, but that is A-okay. It has been an absolute pleasure to join along you two great men, Jarvis and Lane. It's been awesome. I really, really appreciate it, you guys. My name is Nicholas Poitras. I was joined alongside Jarvis Coyd and Lane. We will see you guys at the next race, which is... I can't find it. Kota! It's America next week.
Oh, I might be there in real life. I might just take a drive up there.
Yeah, just drive up there and just commentate from the track. So we're going to be at Kota next week. Same time as always. Early in the morning for us, but that's no problem at all. Again, my name is Nicholas Poitras, joined alongside Jarvis Coyd and Aaron and Lane, and we will see you all next week.